happy souls, welcome back to my reading. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. My beautiful friends, I've got 3 piles for you today. We're looking at what is going on in your connection, what's happening here. So before we begin, I just want to say a quick thank you to Stephen Lee, who sent me these beautiful oracle cards, the Sacred Earth Oracle. We're going to use them in today's readings. Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate you so much. It's such a sweet treat when you guys send me decks. I really, really do appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here with me, sharing this journey, this crazy, crazy journey. And I hope wherever you're tuning in from in the world today that you are safe and well. So let's do this. You can choose from one of these 3 piles. This is the Spellcasters Tarot with green opal. Pile 2 is the Veleda Woods Oracle with apatite. And pile 3 is the Lumina Tarot with amazonite. So there's no right or wrong way to choose. As always, just pick whatever you're drawn to. There may be messages in more than one pile for you. So if you do get drawn to more than one, that's okay. And don't forget to make a note in the comments of which pile you've watched, because these are timeless readings. So, you may find your way back to this video at a later date asking the same questions and you'll know which pile you've watched already. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to move piles 2 and 3 out of the way. Now, pile 1, green opal you've chosen. Just a little heads up before I begin. When I'm doing these readings, we look at the divine feminine energies on the left and the divine masculine energies on the right. Now, these energies are not gender specific. A divine feminine can be a man or a woman, and the same for the divine masculine. So, just take it how it suits you. But just for the ease of reading and so that you can differentiate between who I'm talking about when I refer to each party, I'm going to refer to the divine feminine as she and the divine masculine as he. So just alternate those gender pronouns as suits you. Obviously, I can't do it so that it fits everyone. And when I'm talking about 2 people, if I keep saying they, it can get confusing as to who I'm referring to. So divine feminine, I'll say she. Divine masculine, I will say he. Now, I'm actually going to use 3 decks. So this Spellcasters Tarot deck is for the divine feminine energies. And I'm going to use a different deck for the masculine energies and another one down the centre, which is going to help us look at the connecting energies and what, that bit in the middle. And we're looking at the current energies of each party. We're looking at how they feel and think about one another and what's shifting for them. So you'll see this as I lay the cards out. So before I begin, I'm going to use the significator for each counterpart. This is the deck that Stephen bought me. It's the Sacred Earth Oracle. Thank you so much, Stephen. I really do appreciate it when you guys send me decks. If you would like to donate a deck by way of your gratitude for the free content I provide, you can find a link to my Amazon wishlist in the description box below. You can also send a PayPal donation. Obviously, it's very much not expected and certainly not obligatory, but it is very much appreciated. And you guys have been so, so generous to me in recent weeks. And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Right, so let's see. Divine feminine energies, what have we got? Formation. And for the masculine, friction. Okay. I'm going to get one for the connecting energy as well, actually. Fragments. I did shuffle these, but we've got all the F's out. I don't know if you've got the F word on your mind. Right, so divine feminine. So what are the current energies for our divine feminine? We have got the Star in reverse. We have got Justice in reverse. And we've got the Hierophant. And how is she thinking and feeling about her counterpart? We've got the 9 of Swords. We've got the 10 of Wands. And we've got the 10 of Cups. And what's shifting for this divine feminine? We've got the Queen of Cups. We've got the 6 of Pentacles. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I'm just going to move these up. I don't know if you can see them. I'll check my camera shot in a minute to make sure all the cards are in shot. Hopefully they are. Right, so for the divine masculine cards, I'm using the Cosmic Tarot. If you're interested in what decks I'm using, you can find them all listed in the description box below. So Cosmic Tarot. So what are the current energies for our divine masculine? Let's see what's going on here. We have got the Magician, Justice in reverse. That's interesting. That's come up in exactly the same spot for the divine feminine. and the Page of Wands. How's he thinking and feeling about his counterpart? We've got the World in reverse, the King of Cups, and the Page of Swords in reverse. And what's shifting for the Divine Masculine? What changes can we expect? We've got the Chariot, we've got the Four of Cups in reverse, and we've got the Three of Cups in reverse. Right, so down the centre we're going to look at the connecting energies. I'm going to use the Sage Tarot. Give it a shuffle. There will be an extended today as well. These readings I do are normally a bit longer and a bit meatier, so I'm aiming for at least 25 minutes, and then we'll do an extended where we'll go a bit deeper. Let's take a look here. Right, so the connecting energy for the current energies is the Four of Wands. The connecting energy for thoughts and feelings is Ace of Swords, and the connecting energy for what's shifting is the Two of Cups. Wowza, that's lovely. Okay, let me just check these are all in shot. No, they are not. Bear with me, sorry about this. My camera's all wonky donkey. Okay. So we can't quite get all the significators in. But that'll do, right? You can see all the cards there. Oh, come on, Charlotte. Okay. That's going to do. Right, so part one, what is happening in your connection? What's going on here? These readings are designed to give you some insight from both sides of the fence and obviously to help you determine how best to move forward. This shows us what you're perhaps not seeing for yourself. So the Divine Feminine is in this energy of formation. Now, formation for me this is about creation. It's not transformation. This is about actually creating something. The first thing that popped out when this came up was, it's like a creating energy. It's like the desire to start over is what I'm feeling, that she's on this path now of beginning to create herself, to create a new way forward, to create a new life for herself. It feels very charged though, very intense. It feels charged with pain, and it feels charged with a lot of sorrow, like a desire to just not be who you are anymore. I'm hearing, I don't want to be me anymore. I want to be better. I want to be different. I want to feel good. So, I do feel like you've arrived at this point in your journey where you simply cannot bear the pain any longer. And you're ready to form something new for yourself. Very sad energy there, but very powerful. Now, her current energy with the Star in reverse and Justice in reverse does feel somewhat hopeless. The Star is about optimism and wishing. And with it coming up in reverse, it does feel like this Divine Feminine has kind of hit a brick wall of just exhaustion and tiredness. And with the Justice card in reverse, I get the feeling that it just all feels so unfair. I'm hearing that you've not had an easy life. You've already had a lot of trauma. You've already had a lot of pain. And there's just this energy of hopelessness right now of, still dealing with difficult cycles that haven't closed out. I'm hearing for some of you, this could be to do with a marriage or another relationship breakdown. It could also be another relationship breakdown of like familial or even friends. But there's some loss here. There's endings and loss and kind of, that karmic wheel really turning at a pace, and it's stressful. But the Hierophant really affirms this energy here, because in all of this darkness, in all of this sorrow and pain, this Divine Feminine has now decided, I have to learn how to get myself out of this. I can't continue like this anymore. And, the 5 of the Hierophant is also the energy of transformation and change, of moving from one stage to another, because it's that medium number. And it's about high learning and higher wisdom. It's also about authority and dogma. And I do feel like this Divine Feminine perhaps faces quite a lot of judgment for her choices. And this has been really hard as well, to have these kind of judgments levied against her. It does feel like there's a blockage here for this divine feminine in her current energies, connected to people around her disapproving or judging of her choices. And so it just feels like she's in a really tough space. And, you know, I just want to reassure you, if you, the viewer, or whoever's the divine feminine in this situation, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that it's going to be okay, that this hopelessness and sense of despair that you're sitting in right now isn't going to stay that way. You know, everything about this journey is transient. And when we're in this painful place, whilst it's useful to receive guidance, sometimes what we need the most is just someone that's kind of been through it all to say, this pain won't last. It never lasts. You know, you always move past it. And it can be really hard to accept that when you're in it. You just want it gone. And as I said, there really are these feelings of unfairness and hopelessness, but there is hope, and it is going to be okay. You know, this desire you have now to recreate yourself, and to start learning a better way of being, you know, that's not beating yourself up and loathing yourself. This is a step now in the right direction. This is the beginning of change and the beginning of forming something new and beautiful for you. So our divine masculine's coming up as friction. And I do feel with this divine masculine energy that he thrives on friction. This is a divine masculine that's very much in ego still. You know, they're very much in the lower levels of ego consciousness, and they create friction because they feed off the energy of this. It both reassures and energizes them. You know, this person is unable to be direct emotionally. They're unable to have an intimate, authentic conversation. And so this DM figures out where he stands in this situation by kind of regularly throwing a few bombs in there to see what kind of reaction it gets. So there's a lot of player energy here. You know, this is the energy of someone that isn't being true to himself. He's running from himself, and he's distracting himself with very what are these behaviours? They're very Peter Pan-y. They're playful. They are, you know, they're not the behaviours of someone that's matured. And indeed, this person could be younger than the divine feminine. But for sure, this is someone that's intimacy avoidant, commitment phobic, and enjoys playing the field and keeping control of that situation so as to preserve himself and his own heart by being very distant, you know, blowing hot and cold, playing mind games. You know, he likes the game. He likes the runner-chaser dynamic. He thrives off this because it allows him to come close, get what he needs, and step away again while still feeling confident and powerful because he knows he's left you longing. So for sure that, you know, he is lacking some integrity. But, you know, I do ask you to consider that this is just because of where he's at in his journey. It's not a true representation of who he is. This is his ego that's in control right now. And his current energies really affirm this. We've got the Magician. You know, this is someone that's very focused on his 3D reality. You know, he's not connected to spirit. He's not connected to the light. He's very focused on his material world and perhaps very skilled in what he does. But there's so much just player energy here, you know, with this Page of Wands as well. You know, this is someone that's flirty and fun and very charismatic, very sexy, but, you know, perhaps isn't going to give you the emotional depth that a healthy relationship requires. And as I said, it's really interesting that Justice here, you know, comes up in reverse for the divine feminine also. So I do feel like both parties are currently dealing with, you know, some fairly intense karmic cycles in their circumstances right now. And karma's not always a romantic partner. Karma can be, you know, relationships with family. It can be all manner of things. But I do feel that both of them are in a tricky cycle right now. I do also get that sense of unfairness with this divine masculine. I feel like this couple really mirror each other, because this divine masculine hasn't had an easy life either. But whereas I feel this divine feminine has become very empathic and very loving as a result of her experiences, it's kind of taught her to be more compassionate. This divine masculine, it's kind of hardened his heart, and he's become a bit bitter and cynical about what love means. And this is why he's staying so firmly rooted in ego, and trying to, preserve what remains of his heart. He does have a lot of anger and resentment to women, and I'm hearing this person in particular perhaps had very difficult relations with a mother, or even abandoned by a mother, because there is this kind of deep bitterness and resentment that's levied against women. And I feel like he really feels, all women are going to present a risk because of the experience he's had. So he is very detached. This is someone that really struggles with intimacy. Now, the connecting energy up here is fragments, pieces of self. And to me, this is really an interesting energy. I do feel like, especially with all the red that's in this card, and obviously the blue, which is about speaking truth, that getting to know one another, even though you may have known one another for a long time, is quite a long process, especially because your person here, your DM, just kind of reveals snippets of information at a time that he may expand on or may not at a later date. But it's kind of like you never quite get the full picture. This is someone that's very closed off, and I feel like our divine feminine can mirror that without realizing it. She may see herself very much as an open book compared to him, but in reality they kind of, they're both somewhat unyielding in this connection, because of the wounds that they have. And yeah, it feels like there are missing fragments of self and missing fragments of information within this connection. And the connecting energy for the current energies is the Four of Wands. So, I feel like it's dawning on both parties that this is a very spiritual connection that you're engaged with here. The 1111 in the Four of Wands card is often perceived as a twin flame symbol, because 1111, which are the numbers of awakening, are so frequently connected to the twin flame journey. But this is also a card of celebration, balance, stability and harmony. And I do feel like, even though, your person, this divine masculine, blows hot and cold, and can sometimes be accused of creating unnecessary friction. Well, I say unnecessary, it feels necessary for him. That actually, in real terms, when you do come together and you're able to both kind of, just sit in the energy of enjoying one another's company, you do notice this deep connection and this beautiful harmony and stability that exists between you. And I'm hearing that actually, you're both very good at resolving the conflict and friction that exists between you. I just feel like this divine feminine is particularly tired right now. And in terms of how she's feeling, again, these are very intense energies and very hopeless energies. We've got the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords, also the Ten of Wands. These are both cards of extreme stress, insomnia, anxiety. You can see here that this person, looks pretty upset, hands over their face, kind of broken down. Now, 9 is the number of solitude and independence, and I just feel like this person is in this energy of desperately just wanting to be saved, desperately just wanting to be with their person, but is also feeling very burdened right now by the weight of this journey. You see this person on the path carrying all these sticks, can't even see where they're going. Yeah, it just feels like she's so tired and she's so stressed and she's so exhausted. But look, we also have the 10 of Cups. While she's asking herself, or I feel saying to herself, I just can't go on. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm at the end of my tether. In real terms, with this 10 of Cups energy, she does desperately want to be pardon me, she does desperately want to be with this person. She wants that happy ever after. She wants a beautiful union. You know, she wants togetherness. I do feel like this divine feminine is seeking solace now from friends and perhaps other people on this journey. You know, she has found an outlet or a group of people, her soul tribe, that she can communicate with. And if you haven't already, please do come and join my Facebook group. It's for networking and support with other twin flames and ascending souls. And it's such a lovely family vibe over there. And I post there as much as I can and reply to as many posts as I can. We'd love to have you join us. You're never alone. But yeah, this divine feminine is feeling very stressed out right now with this connection. She's feeling very burdened by the weight of responsibility in forming something new. I feel like she doesn't really know how to achieve that at this stage. She's in the early stages of recognizing this change as being a requirement, but she's still very stressed and can't quite see the wood for the trees, can't quite see where she needs to go. She's just kind of blindly stumbling forward and hoping, you know, that God willing, she can have what she wants, which is union and togetherness. But there is, you know, that feeling of hopelessness as well. Wishing but not trusting that she can have it. There's no faith here. For our divine masculine, the world in reverse, he knows this isn't over. He knows there's unfinished business here, and the King of Cups is a very reassuring energy. The King of Cups is all about very deep love, you know, very deep affection. But this is also someone that probably can't communicate that. Someone that keeps their feelings under wraps. They're very secretive. This is Scorpio energy. And even though it's deeply emotional at the root, you know, on the surface, it's fairly mysterious, secretive and hard. And definitely, you know, deliberately pushes people away. The scorpion, as you'd recognise, doesn't necessarily come across as a friendly animal, does it? It doesn't invite care and affection. And so this person, you know, just feels a lot more empowered, keeping emotional intimacy at that distance. But he does know that this interaction is deep. He knows that it's not over. I do feel like he's silent at the moment with the Page of Swords in reverse. And I'm hearing that quite simply this person doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to say or how to make this better. He's beginning to understand and recognize that his usual demeanor and approach to relationships isn't going to work with you, with the DF. It isn't going to be conducive to happy and positive relations. And so there is some confusion here about what to do and how to make this okay. And whilst he's figuring that out, it does feel like he's kind of holding back. But the connecting energy is the Ace of Swords. Now this is the energy of truth and a new beginning as far as communication is concerned. So I do feel like there's a desire on both sides of the fence for each of these counterparts to, you know, kind of try to communicate in a different way. It just feels like neither of them is sure how to do that at the moment, but for sure it feels like there's recognition of that being, you know, something that's needed now if this connection is going to move forward. So it does feel like there's a separation here at the moment, a separation that's causing the divine feminine a lot of pain, and you know that this masculine just simply doesn't know how to resolve it at this stage, doesn't know what to say, you know, feels very loving and a lot of affection, but is also terribly, terribly afraid of opening his heart to anybody. It's not just this divine feminine, it's anybody. This is something that this person is not comfortable doing. Now, for what's shifting, we've got the Queen of Cups. And, you know, as we've got the King of Cups out here, these are counterparts. And this is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. There's a lot of water energy here. I do feel with the Queen of Cups for what's shifting, you know, this is again a really reassuring message coming from the divine, given the current state of this divine feminine, to say, look, it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. The Queen of Cups is all about self-love. She understands love and she's able to embody love and allow it to flow. And you'll see here that, she's got her toes dipped in the water, but she has got her hand over the cup. And what I'm hearing is that this divine feminine is learning to be more tempered and more measured in her approach to love. Because I feel like previously she has given so much and given so freely. But it wasn't always an unconditional love. Quite often it's because she wanted something back. She wanted reciprocity. And she felt very aggrieved when, her investment of love wasn't repaid. And of course, that's distorted love. That's not the unconditional love that we're aiming for on this journey. I feel like this divine feminine's aware of that, and she's learning to temper how much love she gives so that she can start filling up her own vessel. And for me, this card promises that you're moving into the energy of being able to do that. And indeed, for our divine feminine, we've got the Six of Pentacles here as well, which is about generosity, reciprocity, and give and take. This is about really learning to balance when it's appropriate to give and when it isn't. And the reality is you can only give love unconditionally when you're giving it to yourself, because you don't give others from your own, you don't give love to others from your own tank. You feed from the overflow. You can see here this gentleman is sharing his food, but he would have made sure he eats first. If he went out every day and just gave his food away, he would eventually perish. We cannot starve ourselves of the sustenance that we need to feel whole. And, love is an essential, self-love is an essential component of your happiness. So there really is a shift here with this divine feminine, with her learning to be more balanced and reasoned and more focused on the love that she needs for herself. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse is such an interesting energy to come up for what's shifting. Now, I do feel like this divine feminine has been trying to manifest this connection. Now, we can manifest all manner of things, but generally speaking, the law of attraction doesn't work when it comes to other people, because the universe cannot interfere with another person's free will. So whereas, the universe can conspire to get you a car, to find you a better job, to improve your own perspective of life, when it comes to interfering with other people's free will, the universe is usually not happy about being involved in those kind of requests. So it does feel like this divine feminine is starting to recognize that, she can't manifest this person. You manifest or attract your counterpart to you by manifesting more love and healing for yourself. And I feel like until these lessons are integrated, you are blocking yourself from what is essentially a new beginning. I'm hearing that there are missed opportunities here with this Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And bearing in mind that this is kind of a peek at the future in terms of what's shifting right now. This is cautioning you to be mindful of what opportunities you may be missing for your own growth and new beginning, because you're so focused on a specific outcome. Now is the time for this divine feminine to just surrender and say to the universe, as far as this person's concerned, I accept what is, and I accept that relationship is going to move towards me in divine timing. In the meantime, you want to be focused on manifesting your own joy, happiness, and abundance. And it's always flowing to you. As I said, these are missed opportunities. This is the universe trying to reach out a helping hand, and you not being able to acknowledge it because you're so focused on what you haven't got and what you want instead of what's actually available to you. So for the divine masculine, we've got the Chariot. Now, for what's shifting, this is a very powerful card. This is someone that's moving into the energy of drive and enthusiasm for this journey. Someone that's certainly moving. They are moving. And as the Two of Cups is the connecting energy, I think we can agree that this is someone that's moving towards you. And this is a divinely guided move as well. The 7 here with the Chariot is a divine number. The 4 of Cups in reverse shows us that he's coming out of that period of solitude, that period of withdrawal. And I'm feeling he's been in that for a long time, but this, as I said, he knows that he needs to start communicating differently. He's acknowledging that he has feelings and that this connection isn't going to go away. It's not over. And I do see with this Three of Cups in reverse that his partying, playing ways, are kind of not coming to a complete close, but this is a change that he's cultivating for himself now. And with the Two of Cups here, this does look like a really beautiful new beginning. Now, you have got 2 union cards in the connecting energies here. The Two of Cups is the beginning of something new. And you can see here the liquid of these cups is green, which is about the heart space connecting. So this might not be a literal physical union, but there is a heart awakening here and a connection at the heart space occurring between you that could indeed result in you moving into the beginning stages of union. And with this divinely guided chariot kind of action here, this masculine coming out of this energy of solitude and wanting to kind of grow up a little bit, it does actually look very promising. But again, this divine feminine is being asked to be aware of the opportunities that are being presented for her growth, because at the moment there's an indication that you are missing some of those opportunities. So I really hope that helped. That was really lovely to read for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before you go, I'm going to get you one guidance card from the Rumi deck. This is the Rumi Oracle. They're so very beautiful. These were a gift, and look, I keep all the little notes. This one's from Sam. Enjoy your gift. Thank you for your readings. Namaste. So thank you so much, Sam, for these. And I'm going to read it from the book, as I said, for you, part 1. And then I'm going to take this over to the extended reading, in which we're going to take a deeper look at the thoughts, feelings, what's shifting, all that jazz. Okay. Let's get you one of these. I'm going to give them a good shuffle. I do love Rumi. The right choice, number 29, which of course reduces to 11. The right choice. Let's see what the book says. Stay close to those who know about the heart. Choose the shade of a tree that is in constant bloom. Don't meander aimlessly among the herb sellers and potion vendors. Go directly to the shop that sells nothing but sweets. Don't sit waiting of every boiling pot to have your plate filled. Not every boiling pot is cooking what you want. Not every sugar cane is filled with sugar. And not every down has an up. Not every eye has a vision. And not every sea contains pearls. Within you I recognise my most trusted friend. We go back a long way before the moment when time began. So I say hello to an old and dear friend, so lovely for us to meet again. And I feel how your heart responds with a wave of love, for it is that love that is you, my most trusted friend. On the path of love there is not so much wrong and right in the moral sense, so much as what is wrong or right for you. The mind cannot help so much here. Only the heart can speak such truths. The mind may reject, it may recoil, analyse, and find all the reasons why the simple truth, the right choice of the heart, cannot possibly work and only lead to pain. That is what the mind does rather well, actually, but it doesn't mean the right choice, the heart choice, becomes incorrect. It means rather that the heart has outsmarted the mind, and the mind will need to bow to the heart, even without understanding its sometimes impenetrable mysteries, or one can choose to stay in a conflict, fighting against the right choice, but eventually love will prevail, and the way forward must be taken. So you can give up what you have planned, believed, or decided. Let the heart wisdom that silently and constantly broadcasts its pure and true intention into the fertile womb of the universe lead the way instead. It will lead you along the right path, to the right house, where sits the right master for you. He grabs you in a bear hug and gently whispers into your ear, "What took you so long? I've been waiting for you since the day you were born. Now we are together and it's time for us to play." It is said that one man's meat is another man's poison. To base your choices on what others have chosen for themselves may end up killing you. Better to take your risks on the angel of your own heart, wise as that being is, and dance to your own rhythm instead. There may be fear if others seem to be dancing different steps, but beloved, you know that it is because every heart has its own unique rhythm, and yours doesn't want to waltz so much as to tango. So why not allow it to be thus, without fear or without doubt? This oracle comes with a message for you. In your heart, you know what holds meaning for you. You may or may not have a grand vision to go along with that meaning as yet, but deep within, you know what is without value and what holds value for you. So that's a really, really powerful and beautiful message, I think, for this divine feminine who is struggling with those judgments, fear of making the wrong decisions, not knowing where she's going. You know, this is asking you to listen to your heart and, you know, to trust that you know what's right for you above all else. So I really hope that helped, part one. If you enjoyed this reading and it resonated and you'd like to join me for the extended, you can find a link for that in the description box below. Hopefully I'll see you over there. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure and I appreciate you so much. If you did enjoy the reading, please do tap the like button. It really helps my channel to grow. And if you'd like to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe so that you can get updates every time I post. So lots of love. See you soon. Bye. Hello, part two. Welcome to your reading. And we are asking today, what is going on in your connection? What's happening here? You have chosen the Veleda Wood Tarot with Appetite. Now, just a heads up that when I do these readings, I look at the divine feminine energies on the left, the divine masculine on the right. I use 2 decks and a third one down the center for the connecting energies. But I will refer to the divine feminine as she and the divine masculine as he. However, in real terms, the divine feminine could be a man or a woman, and the same for the divine masculine, it can be a man or a woman. So whatever your circumstances are, whether it's she, he, she, you know, whichever energy you resonate with, please just adjust the gender pronouns to suit you. The reason I do this is that when I use they, it can get confusing as to which party I'm referring to. So just for the ease of, allowing you to understand who I'm referring to, I will use she and he, but the gender pronouns are interchangeable. I obviously can't do it in a way that works for everyone. As I said, they just doesn't work for me, and I do forget to do that when I'm channeling, if I'm really honest. So please don't shoot me. I do sometimes get complaints about this, but I'm trying my best, and it really is only in this reading. I guess I do use the she and he a lot, but it's habitual, you know, and when you're channeling, it's hard to remember otherwise. But certainly in this reading, they can sometimes become confusing. So let's do this. Divine feminine energies on the left, divine masculine on the right, as I said, connecting energies down the center, and we are looking at the current energies of each party. We're looking at how they're thinking and feeling about one another in the connection, and we're also looking at what's shifting for them. And then I'm going to get you a guidance card at the end from the Rumi Oracle also, which is quite beautiful. There will be an extended reading today for those of you that resonate and would like to carry it over there. So I'm going to choose a Sacred Earth Oracle card first as significators at the top here. This was a beautiful gift from Stephen Lee that I received. Thank you so much, Stephen. So the first one for the Divine Feminine is Stretch. For the Divine Masculine, it's Time. And for the connecting energy, it's Revolution. Powerful. Okay, let's get the cards out for our Divine Feminine. This is the Veleda Wood Tarot. It's a beautiful, independently created deck. I'm absolutely in love with it. I do love my indie decks. Okay, let's do this. Current energies for the Divine Feminine. We've got the 9 of Cups in reverse. We've got the 10 of Cups. And we have got the 7 of Swords in reverse. And how is she thinking and feeling about her counterpart? We've got the 6 of Wands. We've got the Ranger of Cups, which I believe is the Knight. And the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. And what's shifting for the Divine Feminine? We've got the Ace of Wands, the Hermit in reverse, and the Fledgling or Page of Cups. Okay, so let's get the Divine Masculine cards out. Really hot here in England at the moment. We've got a bit of a heat wave going. We've got the window open, so it might be a bit noisier than usual with background noise, but if I didn't have it open, I would surely die. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Right, for masculine, current energies, we've got 2 of Cups in reverse, the 9 of Pentacles, and the Tower in reverse. This is the Cosmic Tarot, by the way. If you are interested in what decks I'm using, you can find them all listed below. How's the Divine Masculine feeling and thinking about his counterpart and the connection? We've got the Knight of Wands, the Devil in reverse, and the Lovers in reverse. And what's shifting for the Divine Masculine? We've got the Page of Wands, the Two of Wands in reverse, and Justice. Okay, and for the connecting energies down the centre, I'm going to use the Sage Tarot. This was a gift from one of my lovely students, Jess. You guys really do spoil me with tarot decks and oracle decks. I have quite a collection now, and I do use them all. You know, I alternate between them. It really is such a pleasure and a special treat. Thank you so much for your generosity. You guys are amazing. In fact, you know what? This is such a beautiful community. It really is. There's so much love. So much love in this community. How lucky am I to be part of it? Right. Connecting energies for connecting for current energies is the Five of Cups. Thoughts and feelings for one another in the connection is Justice. And for what's shifting, it's the Ten of Wands in reverse. Okay, let me just check all of these cards are in shot, because I want you to be able to see them all. Oh, they are not. Okay, let's just move the camera over a touch. You can't see the significators, but I'm gonna bring these forward for you. Sorry about this. Okay. Right. That's better. You can kind of see them all now. Right. I'm going to move them all up a touch more. Okay, perfect. So, our Divine Feminine is in this stretch energy. Now, I do feel like she's being very flexible right now. She is really trying to bend in all directions. There's the energy of people pleasing here. This is someone who is strongly empathic and has been programmed and conditioned to please others. And I feel like you really do have big love in you, and you take a lot of pride and pleasure in loving others and giving love to others. But there is an indication here that you're stretching yourself too far. There's a need to pull back, preserve your own energy, and bring yourself into emotional balance, because we can see here with the Nine of Cups in reverse that there is an emotional imbalance. And this card is very interesting because it shows us this beautiful garden with all of these foxgloves, but you know, there's this kind of door or portal into the dark. And I feel like, you know, you're very good at distracting yourself and creating a false sense of fulfillment and avoiding the shadow aspects. You've become very good at being positive and rising above any negative circumstance and trying not to dwell in it. But this is obviously at the expense of actually doing some important healing. We have to face our shadow if we're going to transmute it. And so it does feel like there's the energy of avoidance here, and that by ploughing so much focus into supporting and loving others, you're actually just taking the focus away from your own journey and your own plight. And that's a pleasant distraction for you. So there is an emotional imbalance here in the Divine Feminine energy at present. With the Ten of Cups here, I do feel like a lot of this kind of energy is invested in the family unit, and also invested in the desire for union. So I feel like this Divine Feminine is actually doing a lot of work to help herself feel good, but she's not doing the kind of really grotty, gritty shadow work that actually is going to really allow her to embody more light. You know, the lotus flower unfurls its petals really slowly and gently, and as it does so, it releases shadow and lets light in. So you have to, you know, peel those petals back and face the shadow if the light's going to come in. So it does feel like there are family obligations, interactions and connections again that keep you distracted, and there is a really extreme focus on your light aspects, as I said, at a cost of avoiding the shadow aspects, and a desire to just race towards union. I do feel that there could be the energy here of, well, you want to surrender. You're trying really hard to surrender, and you're doing a fabulous job of that. But you're allowed to have bad days, and you're allowed to not feel good. You know, surrender isn't to never be in pain again and to pretend everything's okay. It's to be so strong that you're able to face and cope with the pain and accept and let go of, you know, what isn't yours or doesn't serve you. And that includes the pain. So there is a need for a really honest look at where you're truly at. With the Seven of Swords in reverse as well, I do feel like this divine feminine, this won't apply to all of you, but certainly for some of you, you're already in a relationship. You know, you're already married, you're already committed to somebody else. And, you know, this doesn't sit comfortably with you. I feel like this really challenges all of your values, your moral compass and your beliefs. You know, you feel guilty for wishing that you could be with this other person. You feel guilty for the feelings that you have. I'm really drawn to how in this card, the dandelion, which for me is symbolic of wish fulfillment and purification, the actual dandelion head, the bit we make wishes with, is in the dark. Yeah. And so it just feels like there's a lot of shame here for this divine feminine. And I do feel like she really loves her family and is perhaps quite satisfied with the family unit, but she just feels this magnetic pull in the direction of her divine masculine that she can't quite let go of, and, you know, really does kind of beat herself up for. The masculine is in this energy of time, and what an interesting energy this is. There's a lot of feminine energy in this card. We can see the goddess symbol here. There's also a baby down here. We've got a lot of moon energy, and you can just about see the hare and the owl here. And, you know, this feminine illustration is kind of holding on to the light. So I do feel like divine timing is at play in this masculine's life. I do feel that he is very perceptive to the soulful nature of this connection, and that he is very much connecting with his own intuition and understanding of what this relationship means to him. So it definitely feels like, you know, the wheel has turned for this divine masculine, and he's starting to become more aware. He's beginning to understand. The connecting energy here is revolution. And for me, that really affirms the energy in this one. For the divine feminine, the divine masculine as well. And again, you can see the moon up here shining its light. This is the energy of intuition, emotional receptivity. And I just feel like there's an undercurrent right now, a very powerful, very intense energy that's shifting through the collective. And the wave that this particular divine feminine is feeling it very strongly. It's like both counterparts have suddenly grown wings. And there's been a really positive shift in energy, even though there may be very limited interaction between you at the moment. Because the divine masculine, you know, his current energy is the Two of Cups reversed. We've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Tower in reverse. And I do feel like the divine masculine may also have his own karmic ties, because with this Two of Cups in reverse and the Nine of Pentacles, what we're seeing is him turning his focus away from this connection and very much focusing on his own abundance. I feel this is someone that gets lost in work, you know, that really focuses on building material success in his life, because this is what helps him feel good, stable, steady and strong. So, you know, there's a very practical energy about this. I feel like you both cope with the absence of one another in different ways, whereas this divine feminine finds herself investing very emotionally in others. This divine masculine invests in the material realms, you know, of creating more stability, more harmony, more abundance in his life. And the Tower in reverse, you know, really suggests to me that he just wants to avoid any major disaster or upheaval. And this is what really affirms to me that there is probably a karmic connection on both sides of the fence, because this divine masculine is very afraid of rocking the boat. You know, he has a lot of integrity. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. But, you know, I'm really drawn to how the crown is off with the Tower. You know, the Tower has exploded and it's blown the crown open. And there's this all-seeing guy that's shining down on this. So, you know, he's very afraid of this connection going to the next level and of it creating you know, a potentially negative or difficult impact in his life. And the connecting energy is the Five of Cups. So I do believe that both of you have agreed to perhaps keep your distance from one another. The Five of Cups is the energy of regret and disappointment and grief. And I feel like, you know, you're both feeling that. That's why it's this connecting energy. There's a lot of sadness, but it feels like both of you have agreed, you know, we need to stay where we are right now. This connection can't work for us. We need to honour the commitment that we each have. As I said, it may not be a karmic partner for both of you, but for sure for the feminine, it's a family connection. The karma is connected with family. And for the masculine, it does feel like if it's not a family, it could be strongly connected to his work and his commitment to his work. So how are they thinking and feeling about one another? So our divine feminine, she's feeling pretty good about this connection. You know, the Six of Wands is all about triumph in love, and there's this kind of celebratory wreath here. And I really feel like for this divine feminine, she, as I said, she's worked really hard to get into that feel-good energy. I do see her making a tremendous effort, you know, in terms of positive affirmation, meditation, wrestling back control of her own mind, which, you know, could sometimes be responsible for talking herself into negative states. But it feels like she's kind of risen above and past that. And she is in this very loving energy. You know, the Knight of Cups is really romantic. You know, this is a really beautiful energy, and you can see the what they call the foxgloves mirrored here as well, like we saw in the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Cups. So it does feel like, you know, she's still wanting to share her love. She perhaps still gives more than she should. She's still learning to kind of balance the need to give and take, as we've seen. You know, she's kind of overgiving, and she's just not letting go of this connection. Even though she knows she can't have it right now and that it's not possible, there's this real energy of, you know, I mean, I feel like she's kind of let go in a sense. I feel like she's let go of all of the negatively aspect emotions that connect to it. And she's let go of the idea that she can have a union anytime soon, even though she wants it. But she is holding on to the connection. She does still feel very passionately, very romantically. You know, there's a lot of love here still. For the divine masculine, I mean, this is very passionate, sexy energy for him. But there's also so much denial and resistance here, so much shame and guilt. The Knight of Wands, for me, is kind of that very charismatic. I mean, we've got the Knight of Cups. Again, this is emotion. The masculine expresses his love in a very physical, sexual way. And he is feeling very passionate about his divine feminine. And I'm hearing that this can border on a kind of sexual infatuation, in that he thinks about her all the time in that way. And that can be somewhat challenging for him. But he is very resistant. We've got the Devil in reverse and the Lovers in reverse. And this is such an interesting combination to come up for feelings, because both of these cards represent love. They're both number 6 cards. The Lovers is actually number 6, and the Devil is number 15, which of course reduces to 6. So one represents unconditional love, and one represents conditional love. Now, I feel like for both cards to show up, you know, this person kind of dives from one extreme to the other. There are times when they feel like this is true love, it's beautiful love, it's real love. And there are other times that they convince themselves it's just obsession, infatuation, and addiction. The fact that both of these cards came up in reverse shows me how much this person is very much trying to resist and deny any feelings connected with love. You know, they're very much allowing themselves to just believe it's a sexual chemistry, it's a sexual connection. You know, that doesn't feel as shameful to them. But when it comes to acknowledging feelings, this person's resisting quite hard right now, really trying very hard to disregard anything that comes up. And the masculine energy is very good at that. You know, they really can just lock their feelings in a box and not address them. And that feels to be the energy that this masculine is in as far as his feelings are concerned. But we've got Justice here as well for feelings. And again, you know, this is a number 11 card, but it's about balance and harmony, but it's also a very karmic energy. So I just feel like both parties are aware that the karma that surrounds their circumstances right now is a major barrier to this relationship getting off the ground. And so there's a feeling of resignation for both parties to what is, you know, that this situation just is what it is and it can't be resolved or changed at this time. In terms of what's shifting, we do see our divine feminine, you know, moving into a much more powerful and very passionate, enthusiastic energy. This is a new spiritual beginning that's opening up for our divine feminine. But there is a caution here with the 9 of the Hermit, which is number 9 in reverse. Now remember, we had the 9 of Cups reversed here, which is indicative of that kind of emotional imbalance, and I was saying that she's not prepared to face the shadow. And with the Hermit in reverse, this is very much the same. This is someone who's reluctant to go within, who's reluctant to shine a light on their own shadow aspects. So there is a warning here that, you know, this is the energy you need to be shifting into, but the way you're operating right now doesn't allow for that to happen. So that, you know, there's a caution here to be really aware of what's actually required of you to progress on this journey, and that's inner growth, which is born of the focus on addressing the shadow aspects that are kind of blocking you from receiving all of the light. We also see the Page of Cups here. I do see the divine feminine reaching out. I see the divine feminine, you know, not perhaps coming forward with this really romantic, intense offer that she would like to, but certainly of kind of trying to tentatively get the communication going. And for this suggestion to be there, you know, that's obviously a kind of positive thing. But the Page of Cups is a fairly innocent and casual energy. You know, it's a message rather than a meeting. It's friendship rather than a relationship. For the masculine, what's shifting for him is the Page of Wands. So again, the feminine's communication is going to be more emotional and loving, and the masculine's again is going to be more sexy and flirty. So I do see that there is communication or messages being exchanged here, but the masculine isn't making any decisions at this stage. You know, we've got the Justice card here again, and he is very much focused on you know, his karmic situation and not rocking the boat there. And we can see with the 10 of Wands in reverse that actually neither party is really taking responsibility for this connection or trying to move it forward. You know, it feels like this could be a new beginning as far as friendship is concerned, and certainly a new spiritual beginning for the divine feminine. Now, I'm going to get you a Rumi Oracle card for guidance because they really are quite beautiful. And I'm going to read it straight from the book before I take this over to the extended. In the extended, we're going to take a deeper look at the current energies, thoughts and feelings, intentions, and get some deeper layers of guidance for you. But let's grab one of these. Oh, there we go. It turned itself over. Cosmic Heart, number 8. Let's have a look. Number 8. I was dead, I became alive. I was tears, I became laughter. The power of love arrived and made me everlasting power. I have seen everything. I have no fear. I have the heart of a lion. I shine like Venus. I hear it and weep. In sublime reverence, I bow to this living, beating, loving heart of the universe. It echoes throughout all of creation. Once, some time ago, I was deaf. I had not heard one true sound. Much noise, but no truth. So I believed in many things not worth believing in. Then in a moment of my crisis that cracked my heart open, I was given a gift. Though I felt fear and confusion, a gift came to me more powerful than those temporary ailments. The gift was the ability to hear the sound hidden beneath all of life. I heard it, that sacred sound of the beating heart of universal love. And now I know that belief is in unworthy things, like fear and doubt is lunacy. Even my loneliness became unconvincing to me. We are animated by this living heartbeat, part of life that is sustained by it. You and I, the planets, the birds and the fish, emerge from the great source because of this beating heart of the universe. It pumps life through our veins. What proof of this is needed? You live, that is proof. I hear it everywhere now. It has become so loud, louder than any word of fear. It resonates through my soul and eclipses any tremor of anxiety. There is a time on the journey of love when the beloved, that would be you and me, sweet soul, is prepared to engage more completely with the heart of the divine lover. The preparation will be a rich process, spiritually speaking. It may also feel like being beaten, pummeled, simmered and stirred in the pot of the divine master chef to become a sacred and savoury meal fit for the purpose of for the most heavenly of feasts. This is a courageous and bold process, one that will create the most delicious aromas in the soul, and yet it is one that will likely take us right to the place we would rather avoid, places of confrontation with pain, but where the loss of its grip on our being no longer lets us quake and retreat from life in fear or uncertainty. You have been through these tantalizing trials, the push to surrender fear, the realization your attempts at control amount to not so much, actually. So why not abandon them altogether? The trials have asked you to confront every part of your being that holds itself back in resistance to what is, in resistance to what life presents at this very moment. You have been asked to become comfortable with the possible discomfort of not knowing, and to understand you don't have to understand anything for life to work out with perfect synchronicity and generous grace. You have been asked to bear darkness without losing hope for the return of the light. You have been asked to trust in your own heart wisdom when your mind was terrorized by nightmares and hallucinations of fear. They were so powerful you were certain they must be real, that you must be crazy not to run and hide, somehow, somewhere. And yet here you are, still loving, still wise, and ready for a love bigger than you have ever experienced before. So we step forward together, you and I. I link my arm through yours and I urge you on. Let us run together and jump over the edge. No more half living in any way. For you and me, we will weep crystal tears and we will laugh with such joy that the stars will burst forth, borne upon our exhalations. We will hear the beating of the cosmic heart pounding in our ears, and how we shall dance to it. That sacred intoxicating rhythm moves hips and hands and heart, raising the soul from the slumber. But that heart does beat so loud, it can be startling to the parts of you unused to such wild, unconditional affection and rowdy playfulness. You may worry that this great love is not going to be careful enough with you. What if you get tossed around in the great oceans of love? You will surely be disoriented and become lost to the world you once knew. How then will you know where to go? Fear not, my soulmate. Love has its wisdom and its way. We shall become lost in its genius together. Whilst our minds are tipped this way and that, tumbled in love's great waves, we shall be forced to surrender our useless intelligence and to become mindless. And then how easy it shall become for the perfection of love to guide us, for there shall be nothing within to question and resist. We will no longer have to find the way, for we will have become the way. So that is absolutely beautiful guidance, and it really does reassure you that you are on the right path, to listen to the beat of your own cosmic heart and to not fear facing the shadow. So I hope that helped, pile 2. I'm sending you big love. If you would like to watch the extended reading, you can find a link to it in the description box below and also down by the timestamps. If you did enjoy the reading, please do hit the like button. It helps my channel grow and I appreciate it so much. And if you would like to see more readings like this, then please hit the subscribe button and you will get an update every time I post. Thanks so much for joining me. See you next time. Bye. Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are asking today, what is going on in your connection? What's happening? Let's have a little look-see. Now, when I do these readings, you guys, I look at the divine feminine energies on the left and the divine masculine energies on the right. And just for ease of reading and so that you understand which kind of part I'm going to be referring to, I will refer to the divine feminine as a she and the divine masculine as a he. However, in the twin flame journey, the divine masculine energies or divine feminine energies are not gender specific. That's to say that the divine feminine could be a he or a she, and the divine masculine could be a he or a she. So I will use the gender pronouns she and he, but they are interchangeable. So please just adjust them as you see fit and as is appropriate for your situation. It's just easier for me when I'm reading, and it makes sure that you can differentiate when because I'm referring to both parties, you can be sure of who I'm actually referring to. So I do get some complaints about that sometimes, and I try and be as gender inclusive as possible, but it's just easier for me when I'm reading as well to remember the she, he pronouns. Okay, let's do this now. The divine feminine energies will be on the left. We're looking at current energies. We are looking at how each counterpart is thinking and feeling about the connection, and also what's shifting. I will be using 3 decks. The deck you chose for the divine feminine energies, we're using the Cosmic Tarot for the divine masculine energies, and then we'll be using another deck down the centre to look at how the energies connect to one another. I'm also using the Sacred Earth Oracle, which was a gift from Stephen. Thank you so much, Stephen. Really appreciate that. And let's choose 3 of these first as significators. So for the divine feminine, we've got connection. For the divine masculine, we've got patterns. And for the connecting energies, we have consistency. So let's get some cards out for the divine feminine. I'll just pull the cards out and then I'll just check that they are all in camera shot. Let's do this. Now, I am going to be releasing new classes and webinars very, very soon. So if you want to be notified as to when they go live so that you get first dibs, because they do sell out pretty quick, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I will update my community page, or you can also subscribe to my website and you'll get an email update. Okay, let's do this. Current energies for our divine feminine. We have got the 6 of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Knight of Cups. This is the Lumina Tarot. If you're interested in what decks I'm using, you can find them all in the description below, description box below even. So current energies for the divine feminine is 6 Pentacles, the Hermit, Knight of Cups. Let's see what she's thinking and feeling about this connection and her counterpart. 3 of Cups in reverse, the Chariot, the 10 of Wands in reverse, and what's shifting for the divine feminine. We've got Judgment, the 9 of Cups in reverse, and the 3 of Pentacles. I'm just going to put those to the side. Let's choose the cards for our masculine. So this is the Cosmic Tarot. So current energies, we have got the Moon, the 4 of Swords in reverse, and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. How's he thinking and feeling about the connection and his counterpart? We have got the 8 of Swords, the World, the Page of Swords. What's shifting? Okay, these fell out. We've got the High Priestess and the 2 of Cups, one more. The 5 of Cups in reverse, and for the connecting energies down the centre, this is the Sage Tarot. This was a gift from my lovely student Jess. You guys really spoil me. Thank you so much for your very generous gifts and your very generous donations. If you would like to donate a deck or you know, a small donation, it's certainly not expected, but it's always very much appreciated. You can find all the information down below in the description box. Right, connecting energies is the 5 of Swords. Connecting energies for how they're thinking and feeling is the 8 of Swords in reverse. The connecting energies for what's shifting is the 3 of Wands in reverse. Right, let's check. Can you see them all? Okay, I'm just going to shift it down slightly so you probably can't see the significators quite so well. There we go, but you can see all the other cards. That's great. So, part 1. What is going on in your connection? So, divine feminine is in this energy of connection, and this is a very watery card. There's lots of starfish and shells here, and I do feel like she's feeling very much divinely connected at an emotional level to her counterpart right now. She is feeling very connected to her emotions and to her spiritual journey. The starfish for me can indicate an element of possessiveness, you know, because they kind of really cling on to things. But I feel like this is an energy she's presently transmuting. It's something she's currently facing and becoming aware of and reflecting on. And she's really looking at her own codependent nature and working towards releasing those energies is what I'm feeling. This is the energy of awareness. You know, this isn't someone who's blindly latching on and being needy. This is someone that's really reflecting on her conditioning, her programming, her life experience that has led her to these kind of anxious attachment behaviors. And she's really starting to get connected to the truth of who she is and how she needs to heal herself. We also have in her current energies here the Six of Pentacles, and I just feel like she's becoming aware also of her tendency to overgive in a relationship, and I feel like she's being really honest with herself about this aspect of her nature, because quite often, you know, some of us genuinely get so much pleasure from giving, and there's nothing wrong with giving, but this isn't giving without condition. This is giving in the hope of receiving something in return. And I feel that in the past, you've very much attracted relationships where you give and give and give in the hope that someone acknowledges your gifts, the gifts of your time, emotion, whatever it is, and reciprocates. You know, really, this is giving in the hope of receiving something back. And I feel like this divine feminine is really becoming aware of that imbalance in her nature and working very hard to correct it. And this is affirmed here again with this Hermit energy. This is Virgo energy. And the Hermit is all about self-reflection. This is the energy of solitude also. This is someone that's taking time out to really think things through. But she is still in this energy of giving. You know, the Knight of Cups is all about giving and making offers. And again, this is Piscean energy. So I do feel like, you know, she's still very dreamy. She's still very romantic. And the message here is that it's not always easy to fight the conditioning and programming. Even when you're able to identify that it's not always healthy or doesn't serve you, I do feel like it's very challenging for you to step out of that energy, because you are just by nature such a giving and generous, lovely person. So there's just a need to learn to balance and temper that. And I do feel that's what's happening, and that this divine feminine is really growing up and really not just growing up, but growing in general. You know, these are very expansive energies. Really working at her own self-esteem, really working at her own spiritual development is what I'm hearing. So our masculine is in this energy of patterns. And for me, this is about also, it has the energy of awareness. It's also quite a watery card. You know, he definitely seems to be deep in the water. And I do feel like he is deep in a cycle of change and reflection also right now. This is someone who is finally acknowledging, you know, the patterns in his own behavior and in his own choices that have kind of led him to where he is now. So there's a kind of melancholy energy to this card as it came out for me. You know, he's feeling very nostalgic about the past, quite regretful as well at points. And he's kind of thinking about where he's gone wrong and where he should have or could have done things better. This can be helpful, self-reflection, and, you know, to be honest with ourselves and acknowledging our mistakes is really important. But I do feel with this divine masculine that he does have a tendency to kind of really beat himself up and shame himself and give himself a really hard time. As I said, there is a kind of melancholy energy here. He is very regretful. And he's, you know, in this picture, he's kind of holding on to his heart space. He's really feeling all of the emotional shifts and changes that occur, you know, when we open Pandora's box, which is what he's done. It feels like he's finally addressing the energy and the emotion that's within him. The moon for current energies. Yeah, this is emotionally receptive. This is someone that's very intuitive. This is someone that's learning to trust in the voice of their own heart and mind. And I do feel like this person, as a general rule of thumb, you know, has been a very logical, rational, very pragmatic person. Even though they are deeply emotional. We have Pisces energy here as well, so you may both be water signs or have a lot of Pisces in your chart. Either way, you know, if your current energies, you're both in this very dreamy, very romantic, very intuitive spiritual energy right now. And for the masculine, I feel like he's addressing all kinds of fears and illusions and really trying to figure out the truth and how to move forward. But you know, with the Four of Swords being in reverse, this is someone that's really listening with their heart and their soul, and not so much their mind. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now, for current energies, this could be one of two things. This could be someone that's so absorbed in their own thoughts, in their own journey right now, that they are somewhat detached from giving. They are somewhat detached from being nurturing, affectionate and loving. But for some also, this is someone that may have recently left a karmic partner or recently separated from a committed relationship. For sure, this person is doing a tremendous amount of soul searching. As I said, they are now listening to their heart and to their soul. And so it does feel like, you know, all of these patterns are now coming up for resolution. And this person's, again, growing, just like the feminine. There's a lot of mirroring here, growing beyond their own conditioning and programming, and learning how to be someone new, how to be, you know, an improved version of themselves. That's the desire on both sides of the fence. This card is really beautiful to come up for the connecting energy, consistency. And, you know, we've got the light and dark energies here that represent, well, the sun being the masculine energy, the moon being the feminine energy. And it does feel like both of you, I'm hearing that there may have been, you know, more consistent communication, more consistent progress. It does feel like the divine plan is very much in motion for you two right now, and kind of pulling you together and drawing all of these imperfections, shadow aspects, all of the bits within you that need a healing are being drawn to the surface by the light, by this kind of, you know, very divine spiritual energy that surrounds you both, because you are being prepped, you know, for something big is what I'm hearing. The connecting energy here, however, is the Five of Swords. So this would suggest that despite there having been some more consistency overall in your connection, some more stability than you're perhaps used to, the Five of Swords does indicate some fairly intense conflict occurring between you in the present energies. You know, this feels like, I'm going to get a clarifier for this actually, but this does feel like a battle in which both parties are refusing to stand down. So the divine feminine, we've got the Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay, and for the masculine, we've got the King of Wands. So yeah, for me, this feels like a disagreement surrounding perhaps the spiritual beliefs or values. There could also be a cultural disagreement here. It could be some kind of political or cultural dynamic that's being challenged. For sure, the masculine is in the energy of wanting to be right. He's asserting his control and his dominance through this argument. And the divine feminine is kind of not necessarily recognizing that this conflict is divinely guided, and that is actually trying to draw awareness to some fairly important issues that need to be resolved within each of you. So I'm hearing there's actually a lot of mirroring going on here in this conflict, and that neither party is prepared to kind of back down and offer the olive branch. It feels like it is that on the surface of things, it might seem that this conflict is kind of a bit petty. But there is something at the root of it that you're really being asked to reflect upon that's really important, and is going to help you have some kind of breakthrough. Certainly in terms of how the divine feminine is feeling about this, you know, we can see at the moment she is somewhat frustrated. I feel that she has withdrawn her attention and affection somewhat. She's feeling like she doesn't want to be burdened by this at the moment, because she's very focused on trying to work out what's going on in our own head. The fact that we had these issues around codependence and reciprocity here could very much indicate that this is where the argument transpired, because it does look like the divine feminine, even though she is very much invested in the spiritual nature of this journey and wants to progress with it, you know, at this time it does feel like she needs her space, and she doesn't really want to be burdened with more aggro. I don't know if you say aggro outside of England, it's aggravation. It's like she just wants some peace right now. She's trying really hard to be still, to stand in her power, and to listen to the voice of her heart and soul, to listen to her own intuition, and to figure out how to move forward for the highest good of this connection. So it does look like she's pulled back. I wouldn't describe this as running. It just feels like someone that's kind of closed themselves off to communication temporarily, whilst they just kind of find some peace and equanimity in this so that they can approach the conversation from a healthier state of mind. The masculine is also feeling very trapped by his own inability to see past his own limiting beliefs. And what's really interesting about this Eight of Swords is that it actually features two people. Usually there's one person here, and the person normally featured in the traditional tarot images has a blindfold on, and they're kind of very loosely bound and contained within this prison of swords. Now, in this case, we have two people. They are neither bound or blindfolded, and they're stood in water, which means, they are stood in emotion, and they feel very much trapped and stuck in this emotion right now. So it does feel like there's some resistance as well to the emotional undercurrent here, and it's because of this argument that's transpired. They've both been triggered by it, and I feel like it is forcing them to really question who they are, to question their beliefs, to question where this is going. But for sure, this divine masculine thinks the world of his feminine. To have the world out as feelings is pretty big. This is the energy of feeling completed by somebody. And I do think that he holds her in very high esteem, and there is certainly a lot of love here. And he does want to communicate, but I feel like the energy he's in right now, this Page of Swords, is perhaps not the kind of mature communication that's really conducive to both of them resolving this conflict that's existed. And indeed, the connecting energy here, with the Eight of Swords in reverse, which is what the masculine is feeling over here, does kind of suggest that the shackles of, this is the energy of feeling trapped or stuck at an emotional, mental level, not knowing how to release yourself from this trauma. And so it does feel that certainly the energy within that connection that's creating this feeling in the masculine is beginning to dissipate anyway. But he does want to rush in, and he does want to reach out. And I feel that he hasn't, because there is an awareness that he's perhaps not yet in the mature enough space to really confront this in the appropriate way. And I think he recognises too that his divine feminine has pulled back, and he's kind of taking a breather from this connection at the moment to regroup. In terms of what's shifting, Judgment. So something is going to powerfully come to light for the divine feminine. This is an epiphany, a realization. This is for sure this divine feminine waking up to some kind of truth or reality that she wasn't able to acknowledge before. And I do think with all of this, probably very deeply meditative work that she's doing right now, and this deep inner reflection is very, very powerful for this divine feminine. It's really creating those energetic shifts that are required for this connection to move forward. But we are seeing some kind of an emotional imbalance coming up here with the Nine of Cups in reverse. And I think this is always the positive aspect of peeking into the future to see what's shifting, because it gives you a heads up. Nothing's set in stone. And by seeing it's moving in a direction which is less than desirable, you have an opportunity to correct it. So it feels like with the Nine of Cups in reverse that, she's kind of wobbling energetically between her masculine and feminine energies. I don't normally see that in the Nine of Cups, but we have a moon and a sun here again, which came up here. And I feel like this is about releasing control and really staying in receptive energy rather than trying to give. So, feminine energy is receptive, masculine energy gives. So there's a real need here to really rein yourself in, divine feminine, and to really be aware of when you're kind of stepping too far into that zone of masculine awareness. What you want to do is keep a healthy balance and remember that your dominant energy is feminine and that you need to be in that receptive energy. But we also have the Three of Pentacles here, and this is really, really positive. This is about collaboration. Now, it may be that you guys work together, or there's some potential to work together in a literal sense, but this is also about coming together to create something new. And, you know, there is a seed here as well, representing new growth, a little oak tree. So it does feel like this is a very positive step in the right direction. This is, you know, for sure, the divine feminine moving into the energy of equanimity, and, you know, wanting to resolve this together. What's really powerful about this as well is the way the symbols are aligned, because the twin flame connection, when you look at it energetically, you know, both of them are in their own auric field or their own energy, but it's this bit in the middle where it crosses over that all the magic happens. And the triangle is a very feminine symbol of creation also. So I do feel like, you know, the feminine is moving in the direction of taking the higher ground and really wanting to work with her masculine to resolve any conflict or dysfunction that has existed in recent times between them. And I feel like the masculine is similarly committed to that. For him, we've got the High Priestess. Again, this is more Pisces energy. It really affirms this energy of the moon. This is a masculine that really is stepping into his feminine energy as well, really bringing that into balance, really tapping into his own intuition. And I feel like you might both be spiritual, but in different ways. It feels like this masculine may have slightly different beliefs to you. As I said, whatever this conflict has arised because of, definitely feels like it's connected to a belief system, whether that's you know, your family values or religious beliefs or something else. But it does feel like he is listening to his intuition this time, and he's definitely shifting into a much more spiritually aware space. The Two of Cups is beautiful to come up for you here. You know, he really is shifting into this energy of wanting this union. Now, Two of Cups to me is the beginning stages of union. The Ten of Cups would be the happy ever after, we're in union card. But the Two of Cups is that beautiful new beginning. That's that first coming together, the dating, the romance, you know, two people saying, yes, let's spend time together and move this to the next level. So it does feel like, you know, your divine masculine, having been somewhat kind of closed off to this possibility previously, is for sure opening up and moving towards you in the right direction. And we've got the Five of Cups in reverse. So I feel like when this divine feminine comes forward with this energy of wanting to work together to resolve this, this is going to help the masculine release a lot of disappointment. I feel like he's quite stubborn, and that, you know, he's not very good at apologizing or, you know, eating humble pie. So I feel like, you know, it's really going to help him when this divine feminine is able to recognize and identify that, you know, that the wisest thing to do here is not to blame the other person, or to believe that it's, you know, the responsibility of either one of you specifically to resolve this. She's just going to decide to off that olive branch and be really mature and approach it. And I really do feel like this is going to help you both move in the right direction. But the Three of Wands in reverse does ask you to be aware that there's still a bit of a weight on your hands. You know, things haven't aligned as much as they need to for that kind of perfect fulfillment to transpire. So there is still work to do here, but I do feel like it's work you're going to be completing together. And as I said, the energies are really moving you both in the right direction. And there is a deep awareness right now in both parties of the need to you know, focus and work on themselves. Now, before I take this over to the extender, I'm going to get you a guidance card from the Rumi Oracle. And I'm going to read this to you straight from the book, because there's such beautiful messages. So far, every pile that I've done, when I've chosen these cards, it has resonated so powerfully. So this is number 28, which is number 10, the number of completion. And it's called Enter the Garden of Delight. So let's see what Rumi has to say to you. I really, really love these cards. I mean, Rumi is just absolutely fabulous. So they're quite long, but it's just such a beautiful message. And I feel like so far, as I said, they've really summed up the readings very beautifully. Enter the Garden of Delights. Are you aware that sweetness is found everywhere in town? Are you aware that winter is gone and spring has come around? Are you aware that sweet basil and the carnation are whispering in the garden and laughing about how simply everything is found? Are you aware the nightingale has come back from its flight, singing out messages of love to spread delight with every sound? Everything in the garden is granted the right from the divine court to appear for our delight. Everything is here to make the earth green and alive as a haven for our life. What remains buried in the soil will always endeavour to reach out. No one truly alive can be pawned to a prison or a tomb. There is a sweet spot when entering the Garden of Delights, a moment where the senses have gorged themselves upon beauty and become heavy with their fullness, slowing the mind so that it can perceive the divine beloved dancing behind the veils of nature. But first comes the sensual feasting. Blooming orchids arrest the gaze with their startling and strange beauty. Nectar from the ripest fruits of the garden drips luscious and sweet upon a savouring tongue. Hungry for gossip, the ears shamelessly eavesdrop upon the birds in melodic conversation. They sing of greatest, most passionate love and boundless living joy. The ears open wide to take it all in. The craving for touch is sated by the rough-textured bark falling from the ancient trees. Soft, dewy grasses cool in the shade. The crunching leaves make their sounds under the hot sun and dancing feet. And the caress of that sunlight upon bare shoulders, with weight of its own like a silken wrap placed just so by a caring lover's hand. The breeze, the very breath of the beloved Earth Mother, is sweet with the scent of lavender warmed by the Sun Father. Oh, drink it in until your arms raise themselves to heaven. Your head tilts, eyes rolling back in your head, and your sacred animal body is mindless and in love. The Garden of Delights, narcotic in effect, lulling the senses from tension into sacred languor that love may be experienced. Let us rest here in the midst of so much life, where the goodness of life is felt and the heart is free from any prison of pain or doubt. Come, be in the garden with me now. Let us be free and feast to our heart's content. Now, before I carry on with this bit, I just want to say how powerful this is, given this card here, which features the sun and the moon and all of nature. And, you know, this desire that you both have to move forward in a very grounded way. But it says here, you have been granted entry into sacred space, a mihrab, a sanctuary for worship. When the soul is well acquainted with love, life becomes a temple of love, the sacred space in which the soul can grow powerful through expansive worship of love. You are being invited by your spiritual brother Rumi to enter into life, to commit to coming alive, even if at times this feels deeply challenging. Sometimes a part of you may rather stay locked in an illusion of security for a time, perhaps expressed through the preference for what is known over what is unknown, what is familiar and comfortable, compared to that which is unfamiliar or uncomfortable. To tussle with the parts of us that would deny aliveness is a natural part of growth. It can seem so risky with such potential for heartache, and yet what could be more heart-wrenching than the slow death of a precious human soul suffocated by fear and inertia? And that's the energy we see in the Eight of Swords. That is the greatest risk of never really and fully being born into this world of wonders. So Rumi is your midwife, there to ensure full spiritual rebirth. He is standing at the threshold with you now. You are being asked to cross this threshold from the life you have been living into the aliveness that is flickering and glowing at your feet. It is love's wild hot embers at your sacred feet. They will erupt at any moment into a holy inferno, taking hold of you and igniting you from within, transforming you into living fire. To come alive requires shedding of so much adherence to the fear of death. The great brother whispers wisdom into your heart. You have heard it, felt it already. The fear of death is so much more terrible than death itself. Nothing is dying in you but fear, so the heart can live more freely. Death and life are twin angels, dancing together in communion with the sacred. They are not opposed. They bring the soul aliveness and make the Garden of Delights possible. They bring the seasons of the soul that foster growth and take the appearance of dying away, which is actually part of the cycle of life again and again. You have been through so much death, dear one, around you and within you. You have known this dark angel, and that is why you are so full of life. Your attempts to stay as you have been and to render something in your life immobile or impervious to change has failed. Let us celebrate. There is no delight in frozen moments long since past. Why try to feast upon such food? It will not nourish you anywhere near as deeply and fully as fresh from the oven morsels of life. Come, let us taste all that is on offer. We'll drink heedily and sate our deepest thirst. Let us enjoy the richness of the meal in gratitude for its preparation and awe at the skill involved in such masterful creation. Do you hold on still to that which is past? I will soothe you with a loving touch upon your back, and yet gently I will turn your head to the right and urge you to see the rising sun. Your life is blessed, you see. I want you to know this now. I want you to accept this now. Let the horrors of the past be gone. They are no more than phantoms. The garden is here now, to be touched, tasted, seen, heard, felt, inhaled, and loved. And so that is really beautiful, you guys. And again, you know, Judgment is the card of awakening. There's going to be a powerful realization from this divine feminine. And, you know, we see here with this Two of Cups and the masculine really shifting into this very intuitive, receptive energy, that there's going to be a fairly dramatic shift in your connection. This isn't necessarily union, but I do believe that this is the beginning of union energies for you guys. So thank you so very much for tuning in. It's been such a pleasure to have you. If you enjoyed this reading, you can find the link to the extended reading down in the description box below. And please do hit the like button. It really helps my channel to grow, and it lets me know that you enjoyed the reading too. And if you would like to see more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get an update every time I post. Thank you so much. Happy souls. See you soon. Bye.